Today, you're going to learn about design systems. Oh, and hey, I'd like to point out this video's awesome sponsor, Skillshare.com, which offers thousands of classes in design, coding, business, and more. For instance, you're about to watch my video on design systems, but you could watch this full design systems course at Skillshare. Now, Skillshare is just $10 a month, but if you're the first 200 students to use my very exclusive link below in the description here on YouTube, then you get the first 2 months free. All right, so let's get started. Hey everyone, Gary Simon of Coursetro. So today we're going to take a look at what are design systems. If you look at the internet and their definitions of design systems, they seem to vary, and there's a lot of vague concepts floating around and definitions. And so I'm going to help break that all down. We're going to take a look at a few definitions, and then we're going to look at several examples. And at the end, you're going to see, I'm pretty confident you're going to have a solid idea and solid understanding of what actually a design system is. And coming up in a video in a few days, next week, I'm going to show you also how to build and create a design system from scratch. But first, it's important for you to understand what it is. So make sure you watch this first. All right, so for today's question, did I do a good job explaining design systems? So usually these questions kind of don't have much relevance to the actual topic, but today I guess I'm going to do a little bit of user feedback. So please only answer this question after you've watched the video, and then let me know if you thought I did a good job or if I could have improved elsewhere. All right, so let's get started. All right, so first, what is a design system? So instead of giving you my own interpretation of what I think a design system is, I thought it would be a little bit better to give you 4 examples from around the internet of what others deem to be a design system. All right, so first up is from uxpin.com. A design system is the complete set of design standards, documentation, and principles, along with the toolkit, which is the UI patterns and code components, to achieve those standards. All right, next up is from medium.muz.li. Design systems are essentially collections of rules, constraints, and principles implemented in design and code. These 3 attributes serve distinct functions and provide coherent systemic order in systems from buttons to single-page applications. From freecodecamp.org, simply put, a design system is a collection of reusable components to tie whole products together. All right, simple enough. And then for a final example, from css-tricks.com, everything that makes up your product. From topography, layouts and grids, colors, icons, components, and coding conventions, to voice and tone, style guide, and documentation, a design system is bringing all of these together in a way that allows your entire team to learn, build, and grow. So as you can see, the definitions seem to vary based on who you ask. Perhaps we can gain a more solid understanding by not just looking at the definitions, which at this point seem a bit arbitrary, but by actually looking at real-life examples of design systems. So first up here is Google's Material Design, material.io, and you can visit this as well if you want. Now, if you look up here, Material is a design system. They self-identify as a design system. This is a design system. All right, so let's check it out here just a bit, just so we can see how they approach and what makes up their particular design system. All right, so first we'll just take a look at design. You can see they have it split up into 3 different sections: design, develop, and tools. Now over here, we have a sidebar navigation. So the material system, they provide you with an introduction and a material studies page, which I never even checked that out, I'll be honest with you. But we have over here some more elements that you will probably be more familiar with if you're used to this sort of thing. For instance, they have a layout section where they have a responsive layout grid, spacing. Spacing is always a common theme in these things. Navigation, color, of course, typography. I've covered all this stuff in my visual identity design course. But you can see a design system is more than just that. We could also see we have guidelines and documentation for motion and animation. You even boil down to speed and communication. We can also check out develop to see what they have here. They split this up into 4 different, I would say, devices and technologies for Android, iOS, web, and Flutter. Flutter is the new guy on the block, by the way, in terms of mobile UI frameworks. But again, this is all a part of their design system, and they also provide you with tools. All right. So let's also check out another one called Polaris. Polaris is Shopify's design system. All right, so our design system helps us work together to build a great experience for all of Shopify's merchants. That's their whole purpose of their design system. All right, so we could see they have it split out basically into 4 different sections. And each of these sections are split up even more into different sections. So they have a content guidelines section. So as you can see, a design system isn't just about aesthetics. It's other stuff too. So what would they have in the content guidelines? Respond to merchant needs, write for a grade 7 reading level. So they're telling you how to write. That's part of their design system. Encourage action and be consistent. They have a section just on providing help documentation. Of course, this is all very specific and custom tailored to Shopify itself because this stuff's real important because they're an e-commerce platform. And of course, if you're going to be working with them or selling with them, this is important stuff. And the whole purpose of having this particular design system, or really for any design system, is to really help try to make sure everyone is on the same page with the brand. All right, so they have a voice and tone section, naming. There's just a lot of different stuff. We can go back real quick here to the design guidelines, and this is where we see more of the familiar stuff. So they have a color section, which is split up into 6 other subsections. Again, they don't have to do this. They just chose to do this, and you don't have to do this either this way. It's all specific to your project's needs. They have a typography section, of course. They even cover scale, display styles, a font stack, resources. So a lot of things that you will see in these design systems are actual assets that you can download, or they're going to be code blocks like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or even React, and any type of code essentially. Illustrations, this is another one that's common. A lot of brands, increasingly so these days, as I covered in the 2018 design trends video, illustrations are becoming more and more important as a part of user interface and layout design. And in a lot of these sections, all in all, they also show you what to do versus what not to do. Very, very common thing among design systems. All right, again, we have sounds, icons, interaction, spacing, data. They also have components over here. So we have a design section here, which, it gives you all of your your base elements in terms of colors that are used and the color palette and how it should be used. The typography section, all this stuff. Then they have components over here. And a lot of times, depending on which design system you're looking at, which designer, whoever's creating it, they'll take components and patterns and just make those the same thing. But these components, as you can see, they have a section for images and icons. All right, so they have a section for badges. And I would consider these to be pretty much patterns because a lot of these are reusable elements, UI elements on a layout, essentially, whether that's on desktop or any handheld device. Titles and text, forms. All right, so let's check out IBM's Design Language. All right, so obviously we're dealing with a massive company here, and this might be something that is quite in depth. Let's take a look. All right, start the conversation. Explore the guidelines to design for empowering experiences. Don't you love how these big companies use such vague terminology? Look sharp, feel vibrant. So from colors to code, create beautiful software with a visceral impact. So what happens when we get this? All right, well, here we go. We have an icon library, another commonality here. We have the color palette, color library section. We have motion, animation here. Up next is an icon library. Okay, so these are all subsections here. So if we go back to the design language section, we click on start the conversation. So these are called user experience guidelines. So these guidelines are just subsets of the design system, or in other words, the design system is the collection of all these various things. And again, it's not just about aesthetics or visuals. It's about other things like user experience, language, voice and tone. Let's check out one more. And this is from Trello.com, and they've named theirs nachos. So a lot of these design systems have their own little unique names. You know, this is Polaris, Google's Material, and then here we have nachos. And you could already see right away that, you know, they're trying to adhere to some specific branding when they name it nachos. They're obviously, you know, their part of their brand is this certain personality. And of course, this is part of their design system as well. So nachos, perspective. All right, so a part of the design system, and a lot of these design systems, you know, it falls outside of the realm of design and into other areas like this about, you know, what their goal is, you know, what type of image they want to project, and the type of emotions that they want people to feel when, you know, they're interacting with their brand. Good principles: universal, easy, personal, visual, familiar, succinct, direct. I mean, again, part of their design system. Of course, we have the style section, which is all the stuff us designers really care about. You know, we have our branding, we have our colors, icons, illustrations, the components, or the pattern libraries right here. They even have a section for dividers, and they show you how to use it, what not to do. Again, what to do and what not to is a common thing, in how to demonstrate in to your team, to a company's team, and any of their associated merchants or clients of how to do something. So I think this is a pretty at this point, we don't have to look at any more of these. So we can see that now that we have a few definitions down, and we also looked at several examples, we should have a more concrete understanding of what a design system is. So if I had to give a single concrete definition, it would be this. A design system is a collection of guidelines, principles, and assets that are relevant to a business. The purpose of this design system is to help the business's team to learn, build, and grow. That's what I would give. And I that last definition, or the last part of that definition, I took from CSStricks.com. So as you saw from the examples, there are differences and commonalities in each design system. Some design systems will omit sections that other design systems choose to include, and that's why ultimately the design system that you build needs to be based on the objectives of that business. So for instance, Shopify's Polaris design system includes a section about designing apps for Shopify. So obviously this is a section that you would choose to omit based on your company's needs if you obviously aren't allowing people to design apps. All right. So again, it's one of these things. It's also not something where you build it and then you forget it. No, it's a lot of people say, it's a living, breathing document that will change based on the needs and the direction of the company itself. All right. So the commonalities that exist in practically all of these design systems are: there's a style and design guidelines, and this includes typography, colors, spacing, illustrations, icons, etc. There's a patterned library section, and these can also be called component libraries. This includes form elements, images, navigations, overlays, and there could be literally 100 plus more UI type elements. There's also motion guidelines for UI animations. We saw that on at least 3 of them. Content style guidelines, we also see these as well. This includes non-aesthetic elements such as voice and tone, language, how to write, company objectives, and principles. So that is essentially what a design system is. It's the collection of all of these documents that help reinforce a consistent brand, all the way from the way a business website looks, to their commercials, to their language and personality. Now, hopefully now you understand what a design system ultimately is, and you can now go build one. And in my next video, releasing very shortly, perhaps this coming Monday, I'm going to show you how to start building an actual fictional design system. All right, so hopefully you now know what design systems are. And for today's question, give me an answer in the comment section, which is, did I do a good job explaining design systems? All right, and look out for the video where I show you how to build a design system from scratch. All right, goodbye.